Yo, what is going on, guys? It's Kyle here from Speedbets, bringing you guys another UFC video. Today we're going to be taking on Dana White's Contender Series Week 4. Now, I've been meaning to make videos about the Contender Series for a while. I've been doing my research. If you're in the Discord, you know I've been sending out some bets for them and sending out some props. We've been doing pretty alright. On the first week, we came like 2 strikes shy of hitting a 5-leg parlay on Underdog. Last week, we hit a couple props. My guy, Dante Johnson, that was in the UFC. Super stoked to see that. And it's been a pretty easy run so far in Contender Series. I mean, the favorites are kind of cleaning up. Week 1, we had Yuri Pamfarov. He came through as a dog for us. We also had his over on takedowns. That was free as air. I mean, Christopher Ewart is not UFC caliber. I've been saying that since he was supposed to fight Jackson McVeigh. But I'm not going to recap the whole series. You guys know how it's been going. Let's get into this week, man. David Magoyan versus Tommy McMillan. David Magoyan is my prospect. I have been following this guy longer than any other prospect in like the entirety of the MMA space. Aside from like people that I have personal connections with, like there's some dude who tapped me out at a jiu-jitsu competition a couple months ago, and he's like an amateur fighter, and I've been kind of watching him, hoping that he makes it big so I could just show the video of me grappling him. Other than that, okay, David Magoyan's been kind of my guy. Now, 100% transparency, I think it's a little too soon for David Magoyan. Oh, man, I wanted to see him get a little bit more experience, but this is literally one of the best Contender Series fights we could ever imagine. Like, I'm super high on David Magoyan, but I'm also able to see the skills that Tommy McMillan brings to the table. People calling this guy like the next Sean O'Malley, saying he strikes like O'Malley. You're out of your mind. It is not like that. It just, like, pump the fucking brakes a little bit, guys. He's not Sean O'Malley 2.0. He trains under Tim Welch. He occasionally throws some flashy stuff, and he's got an opportunistic submission game. He's not O'Malley. He does not have the speed. He does not have the footwork. He does not have the finesse. He's just a cocky little dude with a little bit of a fro, and he trains with Tim Welch, and he smokes weed. Like, I guess the more I'm talking about it, the more it kind of does sound like O'Malley, but basically how this fight's going to go, in my opinion, is it's going to be how easily can David Magoyan get his first takedown. Magoyan's got some sick chain rustling. He's able to take you down. His takedowns aren't the highest quality, in my opinion. I mean, he's getting people down, but it kind of looks like it involves a lot of strength and maybe a couple of guys who just aren't really that great at defending takedowns. Tommy McMillan, he has that rustling background. I mean, it's like Montana. I mean, what kind of stock do you want to put into like Montana state wrestling champ? Regardless, it is important to mention because he's not a fish out of water in the wrestling mat. But at the same time, when I'm watching Tommy McMillan fight, it's like he doesn't care that his opponents are going to try to take him down because he just kind of knows that he's better in that realm. Where if he comes in with that sort of sense of false confidence against Magoyan, he's going to pay for it. He's going to jump the ghillie. He's going to end up on his back. I mean, David Magoyan as an amateur is taking down and holding down Ansar Hamzaev. Ansar Hamzaev, that's a phenomenal win. He TKO'd him in the 3rd round from Crucifix. People don't want to talk about that because it's not on Tapology. It's not on Sherdog, man. Well, guess what? These Russian guys love hiding their amateur records. Hamzaev has a loss to David Magoyan as an amateur. It was like 3 years ago, so it's not like the most relevant thing in the world, but the fact that Magoyan is shooting without a care in the world, he's jumping ghillie against Ansar Hamzaev. I mean, it's like, shit, dude, is Tommy McMillan really going to guillotine this guy? I can't see that happening. A lot of people are saying Tommy McMillan is just going to wait for the right time and he's going to guillotine him. I can't see it, man. I think David Magoyan, if he does a good job kind of avoiding damage, he could even win this fight on the feet. I think Tommy McMillan's striking is pretty good, but it seems a little basic, if that makes any sense. Like, he's got good straight shots up the middle. He's going to mix in a couple uppercuts. But, like, I'm not seeing this guy throwing these insane combinations. His level of competition is, like, borderline fraudulent. I mean, some real questionable opponents on Tommy McMillan's side here. Magoyan's fought the better brand of competition. They've both looked about as good as you can look, given the people they've fought. It hasn't been great on either side. But I like David Magoyan with his wrestling upside. I think he can take McMillan down. Maybe McMillan jumps the guillotine. He's not going to get it. And then he just kind of gets stuck on bottom. I don't think his get-up game is as good as people are calling it to be. And give me Magoyan by decision. Even though he is my guy and I'm rooting for him with all my heart, I think the line's a little crazy, minus 200-ish. I'm not betting David Magoyan at that price. If you want to look for a prop, I'll talk about some bets at the end of the episode, but I'm going to look at his over 1.5 takedowns. I think if he's going to look minus 200, he probably needs the rustling. I think he's going to get the takedowns. But we'll talk about the bets at the end of the video. I probably should have mentioned that. I'm going to go through a couple straight bets. The props are not out yet, so I'm going to tell you guys what I'm going to look for. And I have a couple of DFS props that I'm also targeting. So stay tuned for that to the end of the episode. Look at me, David McGoyan by decision. I don't think he's actually going to do enough to get a contract, unfortunately. Which really sucks because I want to see this guy in here. But he'll probably come back in the next season. They'll give him some layup against some Brazilian who has no idea what he's doing. And he'll just TKO on the ground. But yeah, give me McGoyan by decision. Next up, we have Eduardo Henrique taking on Antoine Ho. Now, I'm going to be honest. I was super high on Antoine Ho last season. I was super high. I picked him to beat Loner Kavanaugh. I had the fight going the distance. Antoine Ho by decision, mixing in the grappling and the striking. And then he just kind of got chinned by a Loner. I mean, he came into the pocket. His hands were down. It wasn't like he was leaving. Like when you saw the Loner Kavanaugh versus Charles Johnson fight, Loner Kavanaugh was backing away with his hands down. Antoine Ho just kind of stepped into the pocket with his hands down. I have no idea what he was doing. And he just got hit. He got hammered. It was bad. I was so high on this guy, and I thought he was phenomenal. And I was like, I can't wait to see what kind of improvements he's going to make. He'll probably be back next season. He's going to take 2 or 3 fights, honestly, because he's probably going to fight a couple guys that aren't maybe anywhere near as good as Loner Kavanaugh, but are still decent. Full transparency, I think Loner Kavanaugh's dog shit, and I think that was borderline fluke. But regardless, we made some money on Charles Johnson. Anyways, I think Antoine Ho, his team didn't do him any favors. They gave him 1 fight between seasons here, and it was against some dude that was like 3-4, Jimmy Natividad. I mean, I hate when people do this, man. Antoine Ho, we all thought he was good enough to be in the UFC. We all thought he was going to beat Loner Kavanaugh. At least a lot of people did. Some people were high on Loner, and I understand that. I know a lot of people were on Antoine Ho, though. And the fact of the matter is, his team just gave him 1 singular fight, and it was against a bum. He didn't get to improve. He's not improved at all. We didn't get to see shit. He KO'd the guy in like a minute. Less than a minute, like 10 seconds. I mean, he literally hasn't had the time to improve. And on the other side, we have Chapolin here coming in on 1 week's notice after winning the LFA title. Like, what are we doing, man? And they're not going to show it on here because the tough season hasn't ended, so their exhibition bouts haven't been posted yet. But like this guy ended up losing to Joseph Morales, who, again, he won the season, so it's not a bad look. It's just a hard fight to pick because I don't know if this was like full fight, if he had a full camp for this fight, I don't know how you could pick Antoine Ho because the dude just hasn't improved. We haven't seen improvement. He hasn't been forced to improve. I mean, he's been through the ringer. He's fighting in championship bouts. He's fighting on the Ultimate Fighter. He's just seen more competition. He's seen higher levels at this point. I'm going to have to go with Henrique by... Dude, I want to say knockout. If Antoine Ho hasn't really improved, keeping his hands up when you're stepping into the pocket, that's one of the most important things in MMA. The way Antoine Ho wins this fight, in my opinion, is by shooting takedowns. He's got to come out as a wrestler. Bro, you cannot strike if that's your defense. You have to mix in the takedowns. If you're not going to do a lot with them, okay, you still have to shoot in the first round to get Henrique's hands down a little bit so that you can let your own hands go. He was having a competitive striking match in round 1 against Loner Kavanaugh. And Loner Kavanaugh, for about 5 minutes, is a very, very elite fighter. I think the first round is going to be really kind of determining for the rest of the fight. If Antoine Ho doesn't shoot a single takedown, I think he's just going to get chinned by Henrique in the 3rd round. 2nd round, 3rd round, whatever it may be, it's going to be the same shot too. It's going to be that check hook as Antoine Ho steps in with his hands down. Unless he's improved, but we can't tell because his team didn't do him any favors, man. Give me Henrique's 2nd round knockout. And we have a good one here. We have Mandel Nalo taking on Samuel Silva. I don't know how on earth anyone can watch a Samuel Silva fight and make him the favorite. This guy, his best attribute about his fight game is that he's tough. He's like a tough cookie. That's the best attribute about this guy's fight game. I mean, the fight that did it in for me personally, it was the Lidio fight, where he just got brutalized in the 1st round, man. Every single fight I'm watching for Samuel Silva, this guy's getting hurt. I mean, I didn't count the knockdowns in his last 5 fights. I mean, it's more than 5. This guy's been knocked down certainly more than 5 times in his last 5 fights. In the Lidio fight, he got his eyes rolled back into the back of his head because he got knocked out twice in 1 round. Now, is that on Lidio for not being able to finish a fight? Yes, absolutely. 100%. But, like, I don't think Samuel Silva won that fight. That fight was a draw at best. He got like 10-7 to borderline in the first round. He got knocked down 3 times, knocked out twice. Like, the referee, I don't know if he had money on... I don't know if he had money on, like, Samuel Silva or something, but holy shit, man, that fight needed to be stopped. Kyle Barallo was on the commentary for that team, and he was, like, begging for the fight to be stopped. It was brutal. And then we're watching the Hardwick fight. I'm not even too sure that he won the Hardwick fight. Like, I thought George Hardwick, there's an argument for him to win all of the first 3 rounds, and he clearly lost the last 2. I mean, the 5th round, he just got knocked down and then held. He got controlled, basically. Hardwick, I don't think he's that great of a fighter, but Samuel Silva's not also great either. It's just a tough one, man. And I think Mandel Nalo, he just kind of shows decent fight IQ. If he's getting hit on the feet, he's going to cage hold you. If you're outdoing him in the grappling, he's just going to step back and knock you out. I think this guy's got power. I think he's got a diverse game. He's training out at TriStar. You have to imagine he's going to come in with a half-decent game plan. Nalo was talked about as being one of the best prospects from the Canadian-type region. He's Canadian, which really sucks because I want to fade the Canadian, but I cannot bet on Samuel Silva, especially as a favorite. I mean, this guy, I've never seen him check a leg kick. I've never once seen him check a leg. He just kind of eats him. He's like, whatever. And then every single shot down the middle, it lands on this guy. He doesn't move his head. This guy's striking defense comes in the form of shooting takedowns after you knock him down. He doesn't block shots. Give me Mandel Nalo, round 1 knockout. I think Samuel Silva has weathered a storm in the past, but I don't think he can weather the Mandel Nalo storm. We have Theo Hag taking on Cesare Olegzaychuk. We are finally getting to see Cesare Olegzaychuk in the UFC. I've been waiting for this dude. I think he's the better version of Mikhail Olegzaychuk, and I think he is going to put Theo Hag on a poster. I think Theo Hag is getting absolutely brutalized. I understand why they made this matchup. This is like the most pure example of grappler versus striker that has ever been formed. If Hag tries striking for even 3 minutes, he is literally going to be unconscious on the floor, through the canvas. It's going to be bad. But if he gets a takedown, man, shit, we're in business. Because he's a big underdog, and his submission prop, you almost have to bet it. I think his submission prop should be the same as his money line because I don't think there's a way Theo Hag wins this fight if it's not by submission. Olegzaychuk is one of the most proven prospects on this Contender Series episode. He has so many amateur fights. He's got like over 40 fights total with amateur and professional. I don't know how you could back Theo Hag in this spot without thinking that he flukes his way into a takedown. His takedown entries aren't good. He's not fighting anyone. I mean, his last 2 opponents, the records are 7-7 and like 18-34. I'm not backing this. Like what? I'm not backing this guy. Are you kidding me? Cesare's gonna knock this dude's lights out. No, I'm not gonna lie. Cesare, hey, he has some questionable get-up game. His get-up game is very questionable. If you take him down, that's probably the round. Is Theo Hag really gonna do that, man? Is this guy gonna pull a Nick Klein performance where he just latches onto a rear naked choke with no hooks and somehow finishes it? I can't see it. Man, if Cesare loses this fight, I'm going to be so sad. I'm not going to go into like, oh my god, he trains with this team, so he's that amazing, but it's important to mention, when Mikhail Olegzaychuk made the switch to Fighting Nerds, Cesare came with him. He's not like his primary gym, but this guy's been getting some looks from worlds better Brazilian wrestlers and grapplers than Theo Hag. Like worlds better grapplers. So I think this fight is Cesare's to lose. It's honestly going to be a travesty if he finds a way to get submitted by Theo Hag here. Give me Cesare round 1 knockout. Maybe round 2 if he gets like clinched up or something, but I can't see this fight playing out close. Whoever wins is going to look minus 1,000. But give me Cesare Olegzaychuk round 1 knockout. Now we have Jack Congdon taking on John Paul Lesbosniani. I don't know how you say it. I'm going to call him JPL. And I think JPL is just going to submit Jack Congdon with relative ease. I mean, I like Jack Congdon. I think he's a decent fighter. He just hasn't been tested against anyone decent. And he doesn't even look that phenomenal against these Cage Titan guys. I mean, he has round 1 upside in my opinion. He is pretty decent round 1. He's got that karate stance. He's going to come out. He's got an opportunistic submission game. I think Jack Congdon has to keep the fight standing. which I don't know if he's going to be able to do. I just haven't seen his takedown defense on a high level. If he can keep it standing, he might be in business, but I think the second JPL starts feinting takedowns, mixing in the shots upstairs, I just think Congdon's going to be out of his depth here. Is round 1 knockout, round 1 sub, whatever you want, just as round 1 win, it's worth a shot in the dark perhaps, because that's the only way I could see him doing it. I mean, after the first round, I think it's just going to be one-way traffic. So I wish I could go more in depth with this fight, but there's not much to it. I just think John Paul Esposniani is way better than Jack Congdon. I don't think this fight's remotely competitive. Again, Jack Congdon live for a fluke knockout, perhaps. But is he really? I mean, dude, if his round 1 prop is like north of plus 700, I'll take a shot. But if it's not, I mean, I don't even know if it's worth it. I don't know, man. I don't know, man. Yeah, I mean, just give me John Paul Esposniani, probably round 2 submission. And we got the whole card here. Let's talk about some prop bets here. There's a lot of prop bets I actually do like for this card. Probably my favorite prop for the whole card. We're going to go to the Cesare Oleg-Zaitchuk fight. We're taking Theo Hag under 17.5 significant strikes. If this guy tries striking for long enough to land 9 or 18 strikes, I have it 18.5. Under 18.5 significant strikes. If this guy tries striking long enough to land 19 strikes, he is going to be on a poster. That line is ridiculous. He's not even getting ground and pound when he's on the ground. So even if he takes down Cesare, he's not going to be racking up some ground and pound significant strikes. He's just going to be chasing submissions. I think this is basically a free square. Give me the under all day. I mentioned it earlier, but give me David Magoyan over 1.5 takedowns. If he's going to look anywhere near minus 200, he needs the takedowns, and I think Tommy McMillan might be willing to give them to him with jumping the guillotine. This guy wasn't afraid to shoot on Anzar Hamzaev. So give me that 1.5 takedowns. I think that's pretty easy. Tommy McMillan, you could even do like a little combo play. Tommy McMillan lower on strikes. I don't really see a world where David Magoyan's going to want to stand and trade with this guy. Now, if they want to stand at like jab and kind of leg kick range, maybe he goes over this. But I think Tommy McMillan's going to be chasing the knockout. He's going to want to get him out of there in the first round. And if not, David Magoyan's probably taking him down over and over again, and it's just not going to allow him to get a lot of strikes. So under 32.5 significant strikes, not a bad look as well. And then, I think if you're going to the Samuel Silva fight, you could maybe even look, I think Samuel Silva under 40.5 significant strikes, not a terrible look. I mean, this guy, he just gets the shit kicked out of him. His only strikes that are ever landing in his fights that I'm seeing, it's high kicks. Now, I think Mandel Nalo knocks him out in the first round, but you could maybe even look at Nalo over on strikes just because Samuel Silva is so durable. He's not going to check leg kicks, so you're guaranteed 5 or 10 low kicks. It could be a decent look, but you're playing with fire if you're on the same page as me with the round 1 knockout. But I think you could play both those, and one of those is probably going to hit either Mandel Nalo over or Samuel Silva under. And yeah, I think for props, if we're looking at Cesare Oleg-Zaitchuk, if his knockout prop is anywhere near plus money, even up to minus 125, minus 130, I think it has value. The JPL, if we're looking at the submission prop, if that's anywhere around the plus 150 to plus 200 range, I think that's got value on it. I can't foresee it being that high, but if it's somehow up there, I think Magoyan by decision might be a decent look. If your book has a combo line, you can maybe look at Tommy McMillan by knockout or Magoyan by decision. I don't think the submission's as live as people are making it out to be. You could throw up a prayer shot on Antoine Ho, but I just don't think Antoine Ho is that great of a fighter anymore. He just hasn't. His team hasn't done him enough favors to get him to progress. I think he's still incredibly talented, so I'm being a little bit harsh on him, but I don't know, man. If you want to throw a dog shot, I think Antoine Ho is a super live dog. He just has to perform perfectly and show improvements, which we haven't seen yet. And the Nalo knockout, I think he's obviously an underdog already. You don't have to go crazy chasing the knockout prop. I think you just throw a straight dog shot on Nalo. I love that a lot. And yeah, that's what I got for the bets so far. If you guys want to join the Discord, see my official plays. I'm throwing everything out there for free. I'm not charging for bets, not charging for any of that. None of this is financial advice. It's all just for fun. If you don't have the money to gamble, don't be gambling. But yeah, we'll catch you guys on the next one, man. Peace out.